Hi, I'm sitting in the dark because the light bumps me out, and I'm pretty much always old now. It's no time to like young me and then old me. And now it's always old me, and I'm not enjoying it very much. So I'm keeping the lights low. And that plus I have zero makeup on. You don't need to see that. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing this show at 4 o'clock in the morning because I think that there'll be a chance that no one will see it. And I just start getting content out there. There is so much I want to share and so much I can talk about. I will never run out. If I made 2 shows a day for the rest of my life, I'd probably still not get all the things I wanted. I need to talk about it. I feel like um, our duty as humans is once we have done something long enough, we learn it. We know something about it. We've learned something. We know a craft or something. And then we have a duty to share it with other people. I really believe that. I think we have to share what we know. We have to do our best all the time, and we have to set good examples. Those are really important things to me. If you're not doing your best when you are setting examples, everything you do is setting an example, then you're setting a shitty example for someone else to follow. And then there's no wonder why the decline of Western civilization is so prevalent and apparent now. But this show is about California and country music. And I am a musician. I've been a bass player, but I play the drums too because my mom is a drummer. And I joined her band at 20 years old. And she's a drummer, so I stood out in her band and started singing. And I started watching her play the drums and listening and kind of just fitting in to place all of the pieces that go into what you hear when you hear drums in a music track. And I broke it down and separated what each foot was doing and stuff. And then I said one night, I said, "Mom, I figured it out. I know how to play drums. Can you let me play? Can you let me play?" And she's like, "What?" I said, "No, I'm serious. I know how to play the drums. I got it. I can play. I can know how to do it." She's like, "What?" She's handing me her sticks and she's looking perplexed as she gets out from behind the drums. And so I sat back there and I played ever since. She made sure I could play a couple of things like right away. She made me play a waltz and I did it. And then we became a fantastic rhythm section that we could switch. She could do the bass and I could do the drums, and I could be on the bass and she'd do the drums, and it just opened up more of our repertoire and stuff. My mom, having joined her mom's band at the age of 15, knew a lot of songs from her, got a lot of songs from her mom, and I got both of those people's music uh, history, songs and everything, and so what I noticed, my mom, my mom started playing. She's been a musician all my life, right? So growing up, she was a country musician. Growing up, I heard a lot of country music. So by the time I joined my mom's band at 20 years old, I sort of it was like filling in the blanks. Really, I knew how it went. I knew what was coming. I knew once I learned where the intervals between the 1, the 4, and the 5 were. It was all over that. I could hear it coming a mile away. And because country's like that, it's like um, yeah, a lot of country music's the same arrangement. Yeah, same progression. I mean, uh, never mind. But my mom played country music, so that would have been through. She joined her mom's band at 15 at mid 1960, and um, she was playing music when I was born when she was 20, right? So 60, 65, 75, 84, 85, 83, like 86, 1986. I joined my mom's band. And country music was changing at that time. When I first joined my mom's band, she made me wear these prairie dresses with the ruffled shoulders, puffed up, and long prairie skirts with cowboy boots, and I mastered that look pretty well. Um, for you can only be so cool with those dresses on, no matter what. You only be so fucking cool. But music was changing. I could feel it, and I was into country. I listened to country all my life, and I I could I had a sort of an attitude about it, which was because I'm a rock and roller from the age of, I don't know, when I first heard Kiss and Leif Garrett and Hacks, the best Hacks, and then I knew that was my music. And so by the time I joined my mom's band, I was already into heavy metal a lot. So I was weeding. You could weed through the country music and pick out stuff you like because it was all changing. It was changing right then. You had Lyle Lovett. You had the Judds. They were big. Reuben McIntyre, and the big changer of all of them was Garth Brooks. Right? He was cool. He was traditional country music, but there was something really energetic about it, and vigor. It had gone into a mastering, phase of its development, mastery phase. Right now, I think it's gone. It's like it's crested, and I think it's heading to another little peak. And this is what happened to me in my mind. Well, country music's always gone through Nashville, but there are a few artists in country music they didn't go through Nashville. They actually went through California or Bakersfield. It's Buck Owens, Merle Haggard, Dwight Yoakam. They broke the rules. They broke the Nashville rules that you got to go there, move there, kiss their butts, become a staff writer, get a development deal, and then 2 years later you get to come out looking and sounding like everybody else. And so I said to my mom one night at work, I said, Mom, country music's changing, and I do not. You don't have to wear this anymore. You don't have to look country to sing country anymore. And she was like, "What are you saying?" And I was like, I want to wear my own clothes. I want to wear like jeans and my boots. I'm so into boots and stuff. She's like, "Okay." So thank God. That's really when I started to feel. That's when I started to feel like opening up as an entertainer, as a performer, and but country music was changing, and pretty soon. And I've always been kind of a California's kind of barefoot, uh, barefoot living. California's like bare feet living, and so I was barefooted a lot, and I like to wear high heels, so I would kick them off because I can't really perform in high heels. And you can if you're wearing big old blocky platforms, but I wasn't really. I was just wearing heels and stuff, and so I'd kick them off, and I would end up being barefoot a lot when we played. And then pretty soon, Carlene Carter or whatever. I forget who the first girl I saw see her video was. She was actually like looked like me in a way. And that's when I realized, wow, they're a little bit behind what we're doing out here. And that was my first kind of inkling. And everybody in Southern California, where I was at, it's a big planet, but it's a small world. And meaning, like you you don't have to go very far, and to meet somebody you know or that knows somebody you know. It's almost there's like two levels of separation or something. But it's a small world. It's this big planet, but a small world in the music business. Basically, I guess depending on what level you're at, even all the way up and down the ladder, if you're in the right place, you're going to meet everybody. California was definitely at that time. Country music was like I called it the branches. You know, you got rockabilly, of course, which Wanda Jackson is one of the coolest chicks ever, coolest women, female singers ever, and she was like the first woman in rock and roll, really, I would say. Um, but sh that kind of raw, unpolished roots music is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Hi, I'm still up. Yeah. So, what are you doing? You want to wake up now? Okay. That was my sister Laura. She also was in that band forever. I mean, the whole time. We're sisters. So. It's a family band. Did I mention that? My sister, and I had a band. Okay. So it's cool music. You had psychobilly, and you had, I call it farm punk and cow jazz, and there was some pretty interesting music out there, in California. Then when the Judds and Reba McEntire and Garth Brooks and all that was changing. Um, California was kind of experiencing a revival in roots music, and there's a club called the Palomino in North Hollywood. It's closed now, but that was a it was like a hub where you could go see bands, sure, but more often than not, the crowd was made up of more musicians than just customers. So it was a good place to go and meet people and stuff. And Ronnie Mack had his barn dance, Tuesday night barn dance. It moved around. It started in little Nashville and then ended up at the Palomino. Didn't end it there, but eventually was at the Palomino for the most part of it. And um, he would host the show and have a house band. They would start the show, they'd play a set, and then they'd start getting people up like the second set and get them up second, third, then most of the fourth, and then finish the night with the band. And he had so many amazing players on there, so many amazing people, so many amazing acts. You know, you got James Infield, and Rosie Flores, and Lady Bird Anderson, and you had Melba Toast. You had Ray Campy would come in, Dwight Yoakam would come in, Pete Anderson would come in, um, Skip Edwards, uh, Harry Orlove on guitar, you know, Marty Rifkin on steel, um, different drummers, Billy Blocks, and Jeffrey Steele and Boy Howdy. He moved to Nashville and sold out. A lot of people did. A lot of our members of our own band did, but we didn't because I don't know why we didn't need to. My mom stayed working. She was a single parent, and she took care of me and my sister through high school on her musician's pay, which is fucking amazing. I don't know how she did that. She stayed working all the time. That's when house bands were a lot more. There were a lot more house bands gigs than there are now. Um, and so she always stayed working. And she managed to raise us, you know, not wanting for too much on that. And so we didn't need to move to Nashville as far as she was concerned. We were working out there, and or she was working. And then when we joined her band, kind of it was the whole thing. We were nominated for Band of the Year and Vocal Group of the Year, and I won Entertainer of the Year from the California Country Music Association, which is like a branch of the Country Music Association and the State Association. And when we were going through those nominations and awards and stuff, I met Leanne Rhymes. She was in the kid division for this California country music thing, and yeah, she was cute. We made her an honorary Paxton, and it was fun. So, uh, traditional country music is really where I was raised on, you know, traditional. Now, granted, in the '70s, country music got pretty sappy, like pretty hard to listen to, pretty. I don't know. It was the gross, awkward phase of country music for me. It's sort of like where it was the beginning of superstardom. It was the beginning of arena rock. It was the beginning of like through the '80s. Everybody wore way too much makeup, and everything was gaudy styles and everything. So it looked bad. It sounded bad. I hated it. Um, I didn't even think I liked any country music really until I joined my mom's band at 20. She asked me to join her band to keep me from going back on the in the streets, so to speak, which wasn't living on the streets. It was just you know, getting in trouble and stuff. So I called her to pick me up from my nightmare life one night, and then when I woke up a couple weeks later, I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? I was like, well, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. And she saw that. She saw that coming, and she said, why don't you join my band? I said, you work out every weekend, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I need my weekends free. And which is hilarious now because after a while, after 30 years of playing music, I sit home on the weekends and I'm like, what the hell? But she said, yeah, I'll pay you. And I said, okay. She said, pick 3 songs, any 3 songs you want to learn. You want to learn, and pick 3 songs, any songs you want to do, and we'll learn them. And I was like, I don't even know what to pick, but anyway, I picked 3 songs, and they learned them, and I started singing them. Uh, um, there was a lot of great music. You know what happens to bands that aren't famous is not the same thing as what happens to bands that do get famous but don't go anywhere. You can be famous locally, and it's enough to sustain you. I think your whole crowd of fans doesn't follow you around everywhere you go, clapping for you all the time. So you don't really know you don't really know they're there. You don't really see them everywhere you go. People come up to you and sure make a big deal out of you and constantly stroking your ego, but for the most part, famous people spend their lives around their friends and family, like the rest of us do. And realizing that helped me, uh, I guess, pay more attention to my family and my friends, which is very important. I was putting all that aside, trying to, being driven to just make it in the music as a music artist or recording artist or whatever. I couldn't name it, so of course it didn't happen. I couldn't tell anybody what I wanted. I just said like, oh, I don't know, I just want to do it all. You got to be specific. You got to be very specific. But uh, once I realized that fame was an illusion, it helped me do what it was on the natural course, uh, and that the path for me that I was gonna have to get there anyway, because we need people. We need people, and we need our family and friends. We love our family and friends. So that helped me cope with not being famous, I guess. I was gonna say that. Anyway, working with my mom and my sister has been the most amazing experience. I mean, what the hell? It is hard to work with your family, very hard. But I do it, and uh, let's see. There's nobody watching. I can't believe this. How crazy. Um, all right, I'm gonna end this stream now, and I'll be back. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm Doris Paxton, and this is California Country. Next episode, we'll get into some music, and we'll play some songs together, and we'll go over some great, great country.